Welcome to the Kitchen Table, a show dedicated to helping you escape diet culture, gain trust with food, honor your body, and live a brighter life. Hello, and welcome back to the Kitchen Table. I'm your host, Alicia Brown, and on today's episode, I'm going to try to say this with a straight face. On today's episode, we are going to be talking all about how you can manage your nutrition by tracking your calories. If you know me, you know I'm joking. Is it April Fool's? No, we don't track our calories here. We don't manage our nutrition. We don't obsess over calorie tracking apps or the number on the scale. Rather, in this episode, I want to talk about why we don't do those things and focus on rebuilding our relationships with food in our bodies instead, so that we can live bigger, bolder, healthier, brighter lives, right? So we don't have to feel like we are a slave to the app or it's taking all of our time, effort, and energy. Rather, how we can build trust with ourselves instead, so we can find that we can trust ourselves even with food, the play foods, the fun foods, the nutritious foods, all the foods, so we can show up better with less anxiety, with less tension toward the food situation, and with more energy, more joy in our everyday lives. And so, truly, to be honest, I had like a million topics ready to roll out on today's show. And I picked my favorite topic. I scripted the whole episode out. And right before I hit record to record that episode, I hopped into my email account where I found in my inbox a message from another business that essentially asked me if I wanted to demo a platform that could help me better manage my clients' nutrition through having them track within this platform. And my mind couldn't go back to the topic that I had previously scripted out. That didn't seem like it mattered anymore. And instead, I want to talk about how this really contradicts my philosophy in intuitive eating and why. So before I unpack why we don't really focus on like managing nutrition with intuitive eating, we talk about gentle nutrition practices, but not like management, like from something external, like from something outside of you, like a meal plan or a diet or a dietitian or some kind of like green, red, yellow light system of eating. No, we're going to talk about why that's really not serving us, and how we start to build trust with our bodies instead, and why that might be more successful for so many of us in the long run in terms of fostering an empowering relationship with ourselves and with food. Before I unpack all that, please, would you take out your phone and hit that lovely subscribe button? Thank you so much. Hit the subscribe button wherever you get your podcast. Maybe that's Apple Podcasts or Spotify. When you hit that subscribe button, it does two things. One, it ensures that you do not miss an episode at the kitchen table. It launches every Thursday and every Monday. Every Monday, it's just you and me here at the kitchen table. And every Thursday, it's you, me, and a guest. And I have the best guest interviews lined up here at the kitchen table. You will not want to miss an episode. So thank you for hitting that subscribe button. And be sure to also follow me at aliciabrown.rdn on Instagram. This is where we can continue the conversation, and you can drop me a DM, sending me any feedback that you have on the show, or, like if there's somebody that you really would love to have on the show with us to have the conversation here, send any feedback, or any topics that you'd like to have talked about on the show. That would be awesome. Thank you so much for being active and participating listeners here at the kitchen table. I'm so grateful. You're here. This is my bread and butter. This is what I absolutely love to do. These topics that we discuss on the show, I feel are all very impactful and meaningful. And today's discussion is absolutely in line with that. It's definitely impactful and meaningful. And it's something that we should really dive into, because I think it causes a lot of stress and anxiety for people to really feel like they have to manage their nutrition to a T, to feel like they have to be perfect and diligent in tracking and making sure that they do not fall out of line, right, with their nutrition, because they are so determined to meet their goals. And I know you and I are a lot of the same way. Like, we might be identifying ourselves in part maybe as, like type A people. We like lists, we like structure, we like goals, we like knowing that we are on a path and that we know what we can expect, right? We want to know that we're making progress in our lives for sure. And our health is no exception to that. And the culture that we live in, weight is no exception to that either. So I think for a lot of us, this conversation about nutrition management and calorie tracking is a really important conversation because it gets us type A people so wrapped up in the numbers and in the manipulation of food to achieve our desired outcome. What I found in my practice when I was in the weight loss paradigm, if you did not know this, before I had my intuitive eating philosophy, my foundation really set, I worked in weight loss. I was within the weight loss paradigm. I did my best to help women achieve their desired outcome of weight loss by still being quote unquote healthy. Now, quote unquote healthy means physically, like preventing malnourishment, but mentally and emotionally, these clients were having a really hard time. And I noticed this pattern over and over that this wasn't building confidence with themselves. This was hurting their confidence, that they weren't being more confident in their food choices and in their food situation or in their bodies by pursuing weight loss. No, this was hurting their confidence, their trust in their self, their self-esteem. And so I knew that I had to do something differently. If you want to hear about my shift from the weight loss paradigm to the intuitive eating paradigm, you've got to check in my earliest episodes of the kitchen table. Just scroll all the way up in my feed here on podcast or Spotify, and you can listen to the shift of my business between weight loss and intuitive eating. And really, when I talk about nutrition management and calorie tracking, I have to go back to my prior business because I saw this crumble. I thought that I was going to become this dietitian and that I was going to help everybody manage their health conditions. I found myself in women's health. And in a nutshell, women's health really boiled down to weight loss for like 90% of women. A few who wanted to control their blood sugars, but most wanted to control and lose weight. And so I found myself kind of in this paradigm, seeing these women just totally beat themselves to the ground with how they were eating. They felt so guilty, so shameful. I would constantly have clients say, Alicia, I don't even want to tell you what I ate today. I don't even want to tell you what I ate today. You wouldn't like it. And I knew that there was something between me and the client that was hurting our trust. There wasn't trust being built there in the way that was necessary for them to feel open and comfortable to sharing their real life experiences with food. They thought, oh, this should be easy. They thought, oh, I should just be doing this right. This is just an equation. I just have to count these calories and eat this way and I'll achieve this outcome. This should be easy. Other people are doing it, right? And when I got this email today, this email is essentially saying like, yeah, like we have a platform, me as Alicia, like, hey, Alicia, we have this platform that we want to show you to help you better do that for your clients so you can like more focus on other things in your business. And I just felt this like gut resistance to that. Like, no, see these calorie tracking apps, they're not working. Managing nutrition in this way, it's not working. It's leading to this mental and emotional and physical fatigue over the food situation. It's not sustainable. It's hurting our relationships with food in our bodies. It's making us feel shameful and guilty with our eating experiences. It's not helping us feel more confident with food or in our bodies. It's hurting our confidence. And so one of the reasons, there were so many reasons why. Oh, geez, I'm just noticing that there's a big spider in the room. I'm going to try to forget about it. There's no spider here. But yeah, there were so many reasons why I left the weight loss paradigm. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be obsessed about the spider now. I don't know where it is. I can't see it right now. Oh, if it crawls on my legs, you'll know. There were so many reasons I left the weight loss paradigm. But one of the main reasons was that I could not bear to see that what I was doing was not helping my clients physically, mentally, and emotionally. It was hurting them. And I think a lot of people don't know that these nutrition management systems and calorie tracking apps and meal plans and diets and detoxes and the structure of eating is not helping our relationship with food. It's not helping our confidence, our sense of self, our sense of health, our sense of self-esteem. And so rather than using a calorie tracking app or a nutrition management system, I have my clients let their bodies lead. Truly. First, we allow ourselves permission to eat any and all foods. That's really essential with intuitive eating, allowing ourselves any and all permission to eat. Our body has to learn it can trust us with food. Once we do that, and I provide a safe container for my clients to kind of explore what it might look like for them to eat some foods that they've feared, that's a process that we navigate together. Of course, we don't trust ourselves with eating right now. A lot of us, because we trust the app instead. We trust the nutrition management system instead. Relearning how to trust ourselves is the bread and butter to healing our relationship with food. And that's what I do for my clients. And so we have a framework of intuitive eating that helps us do that. And when we do that, we see improvements in health, physically, mentally, emotionally. We see improvements in our self-esteem and our confidence in our here and now bodies without needing to change our body. Even though we might still desire weight loss a bit, we recognize that our health is more important and that health is not dependent on our weight. We care about our energy. We care about honoring our body, its feelings, its sensations, its desires, its need for pleasure and for satisfaction with food. And we recognize that we can trust our body to tell us when it needs to eat and tell us when it needs to stop eating, that it's full and satisfied. And our body can trust that it knows that it can have food. Again, these are all incorporated within the intuitive eating framework. And when we couple that on top of really focusing on body attunement, again, body attunement is the ability for you to recognize what your body is needing. Body attunement is, how hungry am I feeling right now? Being able to answer that question. What sounds good to me right now? Being able to answer that question. Also, understanding, how stressed am I right now? Being able to explore our stress maybe a little bit. Am I feeling sad? Am I feeling lonely? Am I feeling happy? Am I feeling focused? Am I feeling distracted? How am I feeling? Being able to really identify and address how we're feeling and cater to our body's feelings and our body's needs. Even as simple as, I am cold. I'm going to put a sweatshirt on. Body trust, right? I'm hungry. I'm going to eat. I'm going to choose something that sounds good to me right now. Cultivates body trust. When we do that, we recognize that our bodies can fully determine what, when, and how much to eat. We don't need a calorie tracking system. We don't need the nutrition management platform. We know we self-manage in a very non-rigid, flexible, intuitive way that helps us better connect with our bodies, strengthen our relationship in our bodies, improving our health outcomes, improving our confidence in many areas of life, even beyond food. I think that covers it. So if you are really struggling right now with kind of finding yourself very obsessive about the numbers, and there's so many numbers associated with our bodies and associated with the food that we eat, but if you're finding yourself quite dependent on the numbers on the scale, or if you're feeling like, you're kind of pigeonholed into the calorie total that you've been prescribed, quote unquote prescribed, for your day, and you're diligently tracking it and you're having a hard time separating yourself from those systems, even weighing out your food, counting calories or macros, whatever you might be counting, I first encourage you to just think, how would my life be different if I let go of the counting, of the tracking, and of the management and trusted in myself instead? What if I didn't dedicate all of this time and effort and energy that takes away from experiences that are wanting, my attention and my focus and my energy in my life? What if I dedicated more of that time, attention, energy, and focus to things other than the tracking, than the numbers? Maybe you'll recognize that those numbers are causing you some anxiety, frustration, causing you some grief. And if that's true for you, you're not the only one. And if that is true, that means that you're probably not going to be able to sustain this for forever. That means you wouldn't be able to sustain the outcome of that for forever either. So it's best maybe to consider what it might look like for you to make a shift right now away from focusing on the numerics and toward building a lasting, sustainable relationship with yourself where you don't need those external numbers, cues any longer because you have your own internal cues that you are able to rely on, and you will feel the benefits from that. So we have to drive away from the pain of all of the numbers to the pleasure and to the trust that can be built and you trusting in yourself and your own body. Because truly, that's what we want to do when we're like, old, right? Like when we're older, when we are, out of our job, we're 60, 70 years old. Do you want to still be tracking calories? Do you still want to be using a nutrition management system? No, you don't. And you don't need to do it now either. If you're thinking at one point in your life you want to trust yourself with this instead of relying on these systems, that day can be today. The day can be today. And if it feels supportive to have help along that journey, so you don't feel like you're just going cold turkey, jumping into the deep end with all this stuff, the support and the guidance is what I'm here to provide so that you feel safe every step of the way as you rebuild that trust with your relationships with food and with your body. This is not a diet gimmick. This is not the hunger and fullness diet. This is not a different way of managing. I don't manage my clients. I help guide them toward their own intuitive eating selves. And they were born intuitive eaters. So I help them just rediscover that it already exists inside of them. The only thing I might layer on is some help with gentle nutrition practices after they've healed their relationships with food and body. So again, this is my bread and butter. This is what I love to do. This is what really my truth in my food philosophy is, that we don't need to rely on externals, that you have the tools within you already. It's just uncovering, sifting through all of the conditioning that we've learned from our parents, from society, from dieting books, from fear-mongering messages that have been given to us in the clinical realm, from the media, advertising, you name it. We've been bombarded in diet culture with weight loss messages. I totally get that. And there's a way out of that paradigm, which really helps you build trust with yourself and your body. That's intuitive eating. That's what we're here talking about on the kitchen table. You don't need the calorie tracking or the nutrition management system. You can self-manage. And that is empowering. Thank you so much for being here on the show with me today. Again, hit subscribe to the show. Share this episode with anybody that you feel like needs to hear this message today. Screenshot and share this episode with them. Say, check out this episode that Alicia just did at the kitchen table. This impacted me. Maybe it impact you too. Let me know what you think. And you can definitely let me know what you think about this episode at Alicia, ALICIA, Brown.RDN on Instagram. Thank you so much for being here. We will see you again on Thursday's episode. Till then, take care.